In this movie, we'll take a look at how you can get your program out of Final Cut Pro by using one of the many available sharing templates. Most are pretty plug and play, so I won't spend a lot of time on things that probably seem fairly standard, but I do at least want to introduce you to some of the possibilities. So I again come up to my Share menu, and we've already reviewed creating a QuickTime movie using the master file option. But as you can see, there are quite a few more choices that mostly have to do with sending the file directly to social media-based web platforms, as well as optimizing for various Apple devices and, of course, DVD. So let's first touch on exporting for web-based platforms. Each of these options allows you to input your username and password for immediate access to popular video hosting sites. I'm going to show you YouTube, but just know that the other social media options are virtually identical. So I'll select YouTube, and you can see that things look pretty similar to the export window from the previous movie. And for the most part, they are. Okay, so here's our program that we can skim through. We have the ability to rename this, give it a description. Here are our tags. Again, they come from keywords within Final Cut Pro. I'm going to leave these on so that you can see that they do become YouTube tags, and those allow others to search for your video. Now, of course, you can change or add these when you're in YouTube as well. Along the bottom, I have my settings, and if I want to change anything, I have to head up here to Settings. And my options are much more limited here, but I can change a few things. Now, depending on your project settings in Final Cut, you'll have various choices under this pull-down menu here. If I change to a new resolution, then the settings along the bottom change accordingly. So right now, I'm on HD 720. I'm going to change to large, and you'll see some things change down here. And SD. Now, these are an option, but, frankly, these days YouTube handles HD great. So in my opinion, you really wouldn't switch to another resolution. So I'm going to switch back to HD. And then I'm just going to mention compression quality real quick. Here I have faster encode or better quality. Better quality is a multi-pass compression, which means that Final Cut first analyzes the video and then compresses it. This will result in a sharper, smaller file, but it'll take a little bit longer. And then faster encode is a single-pass compression, which means that the video is compressed on the fly, but it'll be quicker. I have a couple of YouTube-specific settings. Here I can choose whether to make the movie private, unlisted, or public, and here I can choose a category. Up here under Details, I can choose my account name and password. So now I click Next, and I put in my password for my YouTube account. Now I've actually already done this because it does take some time, so let me just go to my YouTube page to show you the video. All right, so here it is. You can see my title, description. Here are all the tags, so I can subtract them here. I can add more. And here's my private setting. I can change it here as well. I can add it to a playlist, whatever I like. But as you can see, it's really nice to not have to first export a file and then upload it to YouTube. I can go straight there. Now, the other web-based platforms, Facebook, Vimeo, you can go to Add Destination to grab another one. If you wanted to go CNN iReport, you would just double-click on it, and it's added to the list. Now, when I bring this up, there it is. All right, so a couple more things I want to cover here. There are several other options that allow you to optimize the file to be viewed on various Apple devices, as we mentioned. There are two HD templates, 720p or 1080p. And I'm going to select the 720p option since that's what my sequence is, but just know that the 1080p options are very similar. All right, so as you can see, the Info tab basically has the exact same options. Here's my program, title, description, creator, tags. I have my settings along the bottom. If I hover here, you can see exactly what devices this file would be optimized for. And if I come over to settings, there are a few additional choices here, which we can briefly cover. We covered format in the previous movie, and right now you can see that it's set to a publishing format for Apple devices. Under video codec, again, I only have H.264, either faster encode or better quality, and we talked about the encoding options with the YouTube example. Under resolution, just like with the YouTube example, I have some limited choices. When I switch to lower resolutions, my file size drops, obviously, but what also can happen is that when you hover here, you're optimized for more devices. All right, so the lower the resolution, the more devices it's optimized for. Let's switch back to 1280 by 720. We can include chapter markers, and then here you can again choose where you want your file to go. The default for the Apple Devices template is to send it to the iTunes library, because then you can easily plug in your Apple device and then transfer it over. or you can mirror it to your Apple TV by enabling home sharing, for example. All right, so same basic options, but if you need to get your file quickly to one of your Apple devices, that's a good way to go. Okay, so that file is done. Here's iTunes, and I would just go to Home Videos, and there it is. So I can send it directly to my Apple device straight from iTunes. Now, finally, I just briefly want to touch on exporting for DVD. So I come to DVD, and I want to stress that these are not complex DVDs with fancy DVD authoring. This is for very quick and dirty screeners. Now, the first thing that you choose, if you change anything on the Info tab, great, but the first thing that you choose in Settings is your output device. Now, if you have a built-in DVD drive, you'll choose that. I'm working on the latest generation MacBook Pro, which does not contain a built-in DVD burner. So I would just create a disk image by selecting hard drive from this menu, and then I would take my disk image to another system that contains a DVD burner and then just burn it later. Next, you'll choose whether you want your layers to be automatic, single, or double layer. Now, you'll probably just want to leave this on automatic. If you have a longer movie, you may want to force it to double layer DVD for higher quality. If you leave it on automatic, though, no matter what type of blank you insert into the computer, a single layer or double layer writable DVD, Final Cut will adjust to it accordingly. Next up is your disk template. You have lovely black or lovely white. So not a lot of options for pretty DVD menus here. You can add a background, so you can click on Add and then navigate to a picture, which I have one here, and open. So not too much, but that's something. And then here you choose what happens when the disk loads. You can either show the menu or play it automatically. Here is something cool. Use chapter markers as subtitles. And this is exactly what it sounds like. You can actually use those chapter markers that we learned about in the previous movie to subtitle your film. So you can put a bunch of chapter markers in your sequence and do this for things like language translation or giving extra notes that you want the viewers to see. And then if you choose this, then voila, you have perfectly timed subtitles. So nothing that we have for our particular program, but it can definitely be useful. And then down here we have Next, and we would just need to save the disk image somewhere. If I had a DVD burner on my system, this would be a burn button down here, okay? And that would trigger the burn automatically. So that's a very quick intro of burning a DVD. If you want to burn a Blu-ray disc instead, you come to the Share menu, and I've already added it, but by default it's not in the list. You would just go to Add Destination and then double-click on Blu-ray here. And it's virtually the same exact process, just a couple more additional bells and whistles in terms of the main menu options. So as you can see, there are quite a few sharing options that let me send my project to various programs and in various formats for different devices.